Good morning. I'm Adam Rockman, Vice President for Student Affairs. And I have a very magnetic personality, apparently. On behalf of the Queens College faculty and administration, it is my pleasure to extend to you the warmest welcome and congratulations. Many of you have come from far away to celebrate your graduates' achievements. Before we continue, I would like to ask everyone to please silence their cell phones and mobile devices. We will now bring to an official end an enormously successful academic year at Queens College. This is also the academic year when we celebrated our 80th anniversary, so we're very happy to have you here celebrating with us. Right now, the class of 2018 is walking through the welcome gates on Casino Boulevard one last time as students, reminding themselves of the Queens College motto, Decimus ut serviamus, we learn so that we may serve. Please note that our order of procession is as follows. Coming down the side aisle will be our alumni classes from 1943, 1948, 1958, and 1968. It's wonderful to have so many of our alumni join us today to wish the class of 2018 their best and to celebrate their own momentous achievements. Leading our alumni will be Assistant Chief Marshal Michael Perrone. Down the center aisle will be members of the Platform Party, led by Chief Marshal Thomas Charles Streckus, with help from Assistant Chief Marshal Manny Sonudo. Assistant Chief Marshal Alexandra DeLuise will lead our distinguished faculty. Assistant Chief Marshal Simone Yearwood coordinates our graduates from all four academic divisions, who will then proceed down all of the aisles. As our alumni, faculty, and graduates march down the aisles, please welcome them with your warmest applause. Let the processional begin. Tweet me. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our Chief Marshal, Thomas Charles Streckes, who will officially open and close these commencement exercises. Professor Emeritus Streckes earned his BA degree in chemistry from Holy Cross College. After earning both his master's and doctorate in chemistry from Princeton, Professor Emeritus Streckes worked as a senior research assistant at Columbia University's College of Physicians and Surgeons. He started at Queens College in 1978 and retired in 2017, just shy of 40 years at Queens College. During Professor Emeritus Streckes' years at the college, he served in many capacities, including member of Queens College Academic Senate, member of the Chemistry and Biochemistry Department Personnel and Budget Committee, department chair, assistant dean, and dean of the Division of Mathematics and Natural Science. Dr. Streckes has also served on over 35 dissertation committees. Professor Emeritus Streckes' area of research specialization are biophysical and bioinorganic chemistry, as well as interaction of metal complexes and nucleic acids. Today, Chief Marshal Streckes wears the Queens College chain that lists the names of Chief Marshals from previous commencements. Please give a warm welcome to Professor Emeritus Thomas Charles Streckes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 94th Commencement Exercises of Queens College of the City University of New York are now officially open. Let us thank the students and faculty members from the Aaron Copland School of Music for sharing their talents with us this morning. President Matos Rodriguez, I am honored to report that members of the graduating class, the faculty and staff of Queens College, and representatives from the Board of Trustees and Administration of the City University of New York are now present. All are gathered here for the 94th Commencement of Queens College. I now ask that everyone please stand and face the flagpole behind you. We invite you to join in the singing of our national anthem, which will be led by Stephanie Weiss, who is graduating today with a Master of Music degree in classical performance.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets in glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, see, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Stephanie. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the President of Queens College, Dr. Felix Matos Rodriguez.
Good morning, class of 2018. Buenos dias. Are we ready to get your degrees? Why don't we give Stephanie a big round of applause for that beautiful rendition of the national anthem. Thank you, Stephanie. Beautiful voice. Congratulations. And how about a cheer for our Chief Marshal, 40 years serving Queens College as a faculty member and administration. Tom, it's an honor to have you with us here today. Such a great day. The weather gods have been cooperating because they've been smiling at you. They wanted to give you a cool day for this ceremony. And we are here to celebrate your hard work, your accomplishments, your countless sacrifices that they have all finally paid off. Whether it took you 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, or a little longer, right? Earning a degree from Queens College is a splendid achievement, and you should be proud of yourself as we're all proud of what you have accomplished. So give yourselves a big round of applause. Every graduating class is special, is different. This one has the distinction of being the graduating class where we're celebrating our 80th anniversary. So you're officially the 80th anniversary graduating class of 2018. You also have a special place in my heart, particularly those of you who began here 4 years ago like I did. This is my 4th year as president. I know many of you through the events that we've had in the last 4 years. So this class would always have a special place in my heart. We are here. We have about 10,000 people in attendance, graduates, faculty, staff, family members, loved ones, alumni from the classes of 1948, 1958, and 1968. And a special alumni surprise for you too. So why don't we hear for our alumni? And we're here to celebrate your many, many achievements. I salute your family members, your loved ones, your friends who are here, who've been part of your journey. I salute our faculty, our staff members, our administrators, elected officials, alumni, all the members of the extended QC family that supports the work that you have done. You have here a very talented class. Among you, you have a Marshall Scholarship winner who is also your valedictorian. Let's hear it for Steph. You have Watson Fellows, Fulbrights, Fellows from the National Science Foundations, and individuals who've gotten many distinctions in the arts, in culture, and in athletics. Queens College was founded 80 years ago with a promise of making sure that the incredible talent that we have in our borough and in our city gets rewarded no matter of what the financial background of the student might be. So I want to ask all the students who are graduating today, who are the first ones in their family to receive a degree, to please stand up and be recognized. So if you're the first person in your family that gets a degree, that is what Queens College and the City University of New York means to this borough, to this city, and to this state. We are so proud of you and your achievements. Among you, because this is a family affair, we also have individuals who have family ties to Queens College. Because one of the great things about our school is that once people graduate, their fellow family members, children, relatives, also attend the college. So can I ask all the students who are following in the footsteps of family members by obtaining a Queens College degree, if your mom, your dad, if your brother or sister has a Queens College diploma, or if you have a master's and you were an undergrad, please stand up. Thank you so much for keeping tradition going here at Queens College. I also want to give a special shout out to our graduates who have valiantly served our country in the armed forces. The names of the students who are veterans are listed on page 43 of our commencement bulletin. So can I ask all the students who are graduating who have served in the armed forces and are veterans to please stand up and be recognized? Thank you so much for your service. I would also like to acknowledge Manor Mirza. Where's Manor? Where's she sitting? There she is. Okay, stand up, stand up. Okay. She's graduating today and was awarded the Senior Legacy Scholarship. The 2017 Senior Class Gift Campaign provided support for this scholarship. Manor has demonstrated an outstanding overall commitment to student life on campus, so please consider participating in the 2018 gift for somebody in the next class, and congratulations to her. She'll be going to law school after commencement, so let's give her a big, big round of applause. As you know, this is a wonderful event that we get to do here in our quad in the center of our campus. And for this to happen, we need the collaboration of many, many, many individuals to make this event a success. So I want to acknowledge now the Office of Campus Events and Commencement for the work that they have done in organizing the commencement. I also want to make sure that we recognize some of the people that were since very early keeping the crowds in line, making sure that our fellow officers from NYPD do not ticket the parents who are here for campus. So let's give our public safety team a big, big round of applause. And if you also notice, our campus, our beautiful campus, is extra beautiful. Our buildings and grounds team has been working very, very hard to make sure that the campus is ready to receive the graduates and their families. So let's make a knowledge and give a big round of applause to our building and ground staff. Thank you for your great and important work. It gives me great honor now to introduce the members of the platform party. I will ask for them to rise as a group when I introduce them. Some of them I will not introduce because they're going to be speaking later, and I will do the introduction at that time. So don't think that I am missing anybody. If you don't see me, acknowledge them. So first, let me welcome our deans, associate, and assistant provosts. Please stand up and be recognized. Thank you. Also, our dedicated academic department chairs. Please stand up and be recognized. Thank you so much. We have several of our distinguished professors also in the audience. Please stand up and be recognized. We have the chairperson of the Academic Senate, Professor Roberta Brody, also is with us. Where's Roberta? Thank you. The chairperson of the Queens Professional Staff Congress, the CUNY chapter, Professor David Gerwin. And the co-awardee of the Paul Clapper Scholarship and the salutatorian student speaker, Christine Ramkaran. Because of their fine contribution to this event today, I want all of you to give another round of applause to our musicians from our Aaron Copland School of Music. I want to thank each and every one of you for playing so beautifully. I want to give a special shout out. Some of the members of the wind ensemble are graduating today. So Johanna Rocco, who's getting her master's in conducting. So let's give Johanna a big round of applause. And also part of that team is Eunice So and Justin Serkis, who are graduating. Please stand up and be recognized. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're very fortunate at Queens to have the support of many elected officials who make sure that we receive funding for operating expenses, funding for capital, that higher education is always valued at the federal, at the state, and at the city level. This individual needs really not much of an introduction here today. He is featured in all our commencements here at Queens College. And in addition to the commencement, he's always someone who's looking to fight for the City University of New York, for the State of New York, and for higher education. So please give a big, warm Queens College welcome to the senior senator from the State of New York, Senator Charles Schumer. Thank you for having me.
Keep up the great work. Thank you, President Rodriguez. And first to the class of 2018, congratulations. You've made it. I'd like to thank President Matos Rodriguez and all of the staff of Queens College for making this institution of higher education one of the best, not just in New York City and not just in New York State, but in our country. And it has provided for generations, ladders up, so that people can achieve the American dream. It's a great institution. Now, first I'd like to announce my class gift. I have a gift for you graduates. You know, it's hard to pay for college and graduate school. If you're poor, the federal government helps you out. That's a good thing. But what about the middle class? So a few years ago, I wrote a law, it's now on the books, that says you or your parents, whoever paid for college or graduate school, can take as a full tax credit $2,500 off your federal taxes for every year of college and graduate school, provided, in Washington, there's always a provided your family income is below $200,000 a year. So, if you come from a family that makes below $200,000, make sure you or mom or dad, whoever paid, takes that credit. It's relatively new, and so last year about a quarter of all the people who are entitled forgot to do it. If you forgot for last year or the previous 2 years, you can actually file a simple form with the IRS and get a check for $7,500 back in the mail. Not a bad class gift. Now, what happens if you come from a family that makes above $200,000 a year? God bless you. I'd like to say a word to the moms and dads. I know how you feel. A few short years ago, my wife Iris and I sat where you did, watched our daughter Jessica graduate. It was one of the greatest moments of our life. And if you're like us, you think to the tough times. It's not easy raising kids these days. We remembered when Jessica was 4 months old. She had 106.5 fever. We rushed her to the hospital, didn't think she'd make it. Praise God, she did. We remembered when we put her on the kindergarten bus when she was 5. And as the bus pulled away, she ran to the back of the bus. It was the first day of kindergarten, waving out the back window, tears rolling down her little cheeks. But when Iris went to meet her on the bus's return at 2 o'clock, she bounded off happy as could be. She said, "Mommy, I came back." When we talked to her that night, we realized what was going on in her little head. She thought that was it. New parents, new house, new neighborhood, new everything. Then we remembered Jessie as a teenager, when she didn't say much to us. And when she did, we didn't understand a word she said. And then, moms and dads, you see your daughters and sons get that diploma and become an adult before your very eyes. A round of applause for the moms and dads. Great job. And one final note of thanks. As we're having a great morning here today, there are young men and women your age, many of them from Queens, who've enlisted in our armed forces. And they're in dangerous places like Iraq and Afghanistan, risking their lives for our American way of life. Let's have a round of applause for them as well. Now, to this great class of 2018 Queens College. You're graduating at a time of enormous change in the country and around the world. It's an era of profound social change, profound economic change. The world is moving so very, very fast. In the old days, you graduated from college and the odds were pretty high you'd have the same job for 40 years or at least be in the same career. These days, it's different. A lot of you will have several jobs, many of you several different careers. Along with these economic changes, the internet has put so much information at your fingertips, it's sometimes hard to figure out what's important and to distinguish between what's true and what isn't. And around the world, too, there have been changes, many of them not for the better. When I sat at college graduation, words like terrorism, mass shootings were not even heard of. So it's a tough new world. But the good news is this: there is no generation better equipped to adapt to all of these new changes than your generation. First, you've gotten a great education here at Queens College. You know, only about 1/3 of the young people who are your age will get any degree. And your degree is better than just about any other because of the excellence of this institution. You've got families, they'll have your back no matter what. And you're the first generation to grow up fully familiar with all this new technology. You know, your parents, your teachers, me, the older generation, we try to get used to it. But you were born into it. Technology is to your generation like water is to a fish. You instinctively know how to swim in it. So for those three reasons, your generation is better equipped to overcome the obstacles the new world presents, to seize the opportunities the new world presents, and you're better equipped than any other generation to pursue your passions, to dream big dreams, and maybe even do some big things like some of our honorees have done here today. Right now, though, sitting in your seats, you may not be sure what's going to come next. With so much of the world changing, sometimes it might feel like you're jumping into an abyss. But the key, graduates, is this: don't fear the unknown. Don't fear change. Embrace it, relish it, soak it up. Don't let one setback stand in your way. Because if you embrace change and don't let the fear of failing deter you, the odds are very high you'll succeed. How do I know? I've experienced some of these things myself. When I was seated at college graduation several decades back, I had just learned that I had won a scholarship to travel all around the world, all expenses paid for a whole year. For me, a kid from Brooklyn who had never been out of the country before, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. But, graduates, at the same time, I had met a girl and I fell in love. Aww. So, graduates, I had to decide, do I go around the world on the all-expense-paid scholarship for a whole year? Or do I stay home with the girl, my first true love? Class of 2018, what would you have done? President Rodriguez, the class is divided. I stayed home with the girl. No, don't clap yet, you romantics over there. The story continues. That summer, she went on a brief vacation, and I went to the airport to meet her on her return. As soon as she got off the plane, I saw by the look on her face something was the matter. She dumped me by Labor Day. There I was, no scholarship, no trip around the world, no girl. I said to myself, what a loser you are. Forget about it, it's over. You're never going to make anything of yourself. Just give it up right now. And in fact, I stayed in my house for several months, moped around, felt sorry for myself, but somehow I picked myself up, dusted myself off, overcame the setback, and moved forward. And a few years later, I found myself seated at graduation once again, this time from law school. But on the way home from law school, I told Mom and Dad I was not going to join the fancy law firm like we had planned. I told them I loved politics. I told them my dream was to run for office, even though it would be very difficult. My parents were shocked. My mother was particularly disappointed. You see, I grew up in a working-class family. My father was an exterminator, never went to college, never made much money, and the law firm was paying $400 a week. That was more money than my family had ever seen. But my dream was to run for office, and so that fall, At the age of 23 and against very long odds, I ran for the New York State Assembly, and I had 3 opponents. There was the party machine candidate, there was a neighborhood activist, and then there was my mother, who was telling all her friends not to vote for me. So as she said, I'd get this dumb idea of being a politician out of my big, thick head. Well, graduates, a few years earlier, I sure didn't get that girl. But that November, I won the election. So, in conclusion, to this great class of 2018, on this great day of your achievement, my advice to you is take the risk. Don't let setbacks or fear of failing deter you. You know, for those of us who've gotten older, sometimes the more difficult moments are what I call the what-ifs. What if I had only done that? When we look back, we say, what if I had only done that? What if I had only gone there? So my advice to the class of 2018 is very, very simple. Go for it. You're about to cast off into the unknown. Sometimes it can be scary, but you've got great assets, great education, great family, total instinctive familiarity with the new technology. So garner up your courage, garner up your strength. Put aside your doubts. Take a chance. And if you do, it is not only my hope, it is not only my prayer, it is indeed my confidence that you will find true joy and true success in life. To this great class of 2018, congratulations! Good luck! Godspeed, and don't forget, go for it! Thanks, President. Thank you for your great job, by the way. Thanks for the good job you all.
Let's hear again for Senator Chuck Schumer. Thank you. We also now have someone who wants to give you greetings, someone who was born and raised here in Queens, whose family has long ties to the borough and to our institution, her father being the founder of the Queens Symphony Orchestra and her mother of the Queen Council for the Arts. Before becoming the borough president of Queens, distinguished career in public service and in law, serving over 20 years in the City Council and in the New York State Assembly. I've been blessed to have Borough President Katz as a partner in my 4 years here at the college. A lot of the renovations that you see on campus and many new projects that are coming come directly supported from capital dollars that come from the Borough President's office, and she's been a particular advocate of the arts here in the borough and in the college. So please give a warm Queens College welcome to our Borough President, Melinda Katz.
Good morning, graduates of Queens College. 2018, congratulations. I want to acknowledge Dr. Felix Matos Rodriguez, who has done an amazing job as being president of this great institution of Queens College. I want to acknowledge all your professors, deans, provosts, everyone who got us to the day that we are here to celebrate. I also want to acknowledge Councilman Rory Lantzman, who we are sitting in his council district and does so much work to make sure that Queens College can move forward on so many of its projects. And Councilman Francisco Moya, who every single year in the New York State Assembly, 7 years, passed an act to try and make sure that regardless of documentation of immigration, men and women who want to go to college should have the same financial abilities as everyone else in the United States of America. And we want to thank him for carrying that torch of the DREAM Act in the New York State Assembly. I have the great honor of being the president of this great borough of Queens. I'm raising my 7- and 10-year-old in the same house that I was brought up here in the borough of Queens. I am 52 years old with a 7-year-old child. Thank you. Doesn't bother me at all. I'm a graduate of the New York City public school system. I was proud to teach here at Queens College for many years. We are in the borough of Queens, 48% born outside the United States of America. That means 48% of the folks that are here in the borough of Queens who filled out the census chose to make Queens their home. We have people all over the world right now, all over the entire world, who are sacrificing and saving just so they could bring their families right here to the United States, just so they could bring their family right here to Queens. We are 190 languages. We are 200 countries. You are sitting in the most diverse area on the entire planet right now. And that diversity deserves a round of applause because it is our strength. It is our strength in the borough of Queens. And every time you hear otherwise in the United States of America, we want to make sure that we shout loud and clearly that we are so proud of our religions and our traditions and the countries that we hail from. And although we are graduating Queens College together as one, we celebrate our parents' traditions and their parents' traditions every single day. And I want to also acknowledge what Senator Schumer talked about. You right now have more knowledge at your fingertips just by taking out your cell phone than generations have had put together before you. So what you do from here as you graduate Queens College is up to you. The world is the limit. For the first time, the world is the limit. So the future that you choose to do with it is up to you. I am so proud that on my staff at Queensborough Hall, I have a chief of staff who graduated from Queens College. My director of education in the entire borough of Queens graduated from Queens College. I was a guest speaker in the political science department, and there was a woman in the audience there from Queens College. She is graduating today, Michelle Seufer. I hired her before she graduated from Queens College. So I'm very proud to be here today. I'm more proud of all of the first-time graduates from their families who are today showing that whatever we do in life, the sky truly is the limit. As the borough president of this great borough, I leave you with only one piece of advice. You're graduating today, but Queens College will always be a part of your life. And as it is shown from my staff, when you graduate, the alumni, I see graduates from the alumni here today, and we thank you for joining us every single year for the Queens College graduation. But the graduates, it seems like you guys have a great club out there, right? The alumni talks to each other, they work together still, they recommend each other for jobs, they work with all of the connections that they have had. But I leave you with the one piece of advice. Whatever your true definition of success is, whatever that is, you know that you remember to get you here today. There was one person that you didn't count on. One person who you were shocked was there for you when you needed them. One person, and I don't mean your parents and your family because your parents did everything they could to get you here today. I mean that one other person who reached down and pulled you up at a time when you thought you couldn't succeed. And they said to you, you will succeed, I will help you, and this is the path. So whatever definition of success you have, please remember that there will be that one person who needs you to reach down and lift them up. And as you do that through your career and through your life, as you bring other people with you to that success, that is when you truly will know that you have been a successful person in anything that you have chosen. Lift other people up along with you. That is the meaning of success. Congratulations on today.
Let's give it again for our Board President, Melinda Katz. And she knows you have so many graduates working with you. If you want, there's always time for an additional degree. If you do want at some point to add that to your, we'll be happy to take you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. It gives me great pleasure to also introduce another Queens native who is a big supporter of our college, has deep roots here. He's an alum. And not only is he an alumnus of the college, but he met his wife here at Queens College. So they make an alumni couple, graduated in the class of 1991, and has been serving in the city council for the past 3 terms. We're very fortunate that he's a presence not just at official events like this, but the students know that we see him often on campus, very active with our veterans, very active with a number of other student organizations on the campus. So I'm delighted to have someone in the city council who is supporting us when we need money and capital support, but is also a thought partner and a great supporter of the many, many clubs and organizations here in our campus. So he also, when he was inducted into the city council, had his ceremony right here on campus. So why don't we give a big Queens College welcome to one of your own, our alumnus, our city council member, Rory Lansman.
Or as I remind Senator Chuck Schumer, I'm the politician who got the girl. Actually, I only say that after he leaves. Good morning, class of 2018. Thank you, President Matos, for welcoming me back, and thank you to the class of 2018 for letting me share in this very special occasion for you and your families. Queens College is very special to me, of course. I was given a great education that allowed me to go on to law school and have a career that is profoundly meaningful to me. Plus, yes, I met my wife here. She came here as an immigrant from Iran at 10 years old, went to Queens College 7 or 8 years later, and now she's a judge. Not too shabby. That is the opportunity that a Queens College education and a Queens College experience can afford you. And now it is such an honor to represent Queens College in the New York City Council. But Queens College was more than just an academic education for me. It's also where I cemented my awareness of myself as a New Yorker and my commitment to being a good public citizen. CUNY was founded so that every New Yorker could have access to a solid education and the opportunity to fulfill their personal potential. But it had an additional purpose, both for the people of the city who built it and for the students who would be educated here. For those who built and paid for CUNY, the establishment of a great public university was an expression of their values, their belief that a great city was great not merely for the beautiful skyline or the subways and bridges that it built, but for the quality of the people that it built as well. The opportunity that it afforded all of its people to be the best selves they could be, to get a great education, to learn from distinguished scholars, and to see themselves as and to be citizens of a great metropolis. That spirit and those values continue today in the tremendous support that the taxpayers of New York City provide to sustain and grow Queens College and all the rest of the City University of New York. Each of you and your achievement today is a product of that commitment by New Yorkers to each other. Hopefully, each of you graduating today, just as it was for me when I graduated 28 years ago,
Queens College not only prepared me for a professional life, but also helped to find my sense of public purpose. My awareness that I was part of a public institution created and funded by the public for the public. And that whatever I did in life, whether it was working in public service directly or just how I conducted myself as a private citizen, I accepted the responsibilities of being a New Yorker. Those are your responsibilities: to care about our city, to vote if you're able, to be charitable to the public and community institutions that are important to you, and to pass on the commitment to sustaining educational opportunities for all of our fellow New Yorkers to the extent of our ability. Now, for one of you today, that sense of responsibility has already started you on a career in public service. Henry Yam, where are you at? Stand up, Henry. Henry is a staff member in my office, every day helping people navigate government bureaucracy and improve the quality of their lives. But whether you go into public service or you spend your life in the private sector, always have within you your sense of responsibility as a New Yorker. And so to all of you, my fellow New Yorkers, and you're all New Yorkers, I don't care what corner of the globe you came from or what corner of the globe you're going back to, today, graduating from this university, you are a New Yorker. To all of you, my fellow New Yorkers, I say congratulations. Today is a tremendous milestone for each of you and also for our great city. Congratulations, class of 2018.
Let's hear it again for our council member. Thank you so much. I also want to remind of you, you might be seeing that we have some cameras posted and there's some folks walking around with cameras. This commencement ceremony is being live streamed all over the world, right? So you have people watching this ceremony at 10 o'clock. It might be 10 o'clock at night in some other place. So please, if you don't want to be captured forever doing something funny that you want to regret, make sure when the camera is next to you that you think about that before your next step. Now we're going to have someone who's representing the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York. Trustee Shorter has been a trustee since 2008. I think that makes him the longest serving trustee in our Board of Trustees of the City University of New York. And this is his first Queens College commencement. My sense is that he may be back or not, depending on the level of applause he gets when I introduce him. So please give a big Queens College welcome to our trustee, Charles Shorter.
I do have a prepared speech, but I've seen and heard enough to make certain that prepared speech gets summarily reduced. First and foremost, good morning, President Felix Matos Rodriguez. There is also Vice Chancellor for Operations, Bert Katz, distinguished honorary degree recipients, our keynote speaker, Cristina Jimenez Moreta, co-founder of United We Stand, illustrious guests, members of the faculty, families, friends, and most importantly, in the words of one of my favorite movies, good morning, class of 2018. My hearty congratulations to all of you, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I am honored to celebrate your academic achievements at your Queens College commencement. Something that needs to be said, you are the pride of CUNY, and you are the pride of New York, and we are immensely proud of you. And you should be proud of yourselves. Today is a tremendous accomplishment, and I hope that you are feeling overjoyed. Take a look around you. Pause. Appreciate this moment of triumph. Give thanks to family, friends, faculty, and to all of those who have helped guide you along. Cherish this experience. No, today you've reached the finish line, but it's really the start of a chapter of your lives. And as you look to the future, please understand, please know that you are equipped and empowered with more knowledge, more skill, and more innovation than any generation before you. So venture out and change the world. I have no doubt that each of you has the talent and the passion to change the world. And on behalf of all of us at CUNY and the Board of Trustees, I extend my very best wishes for a bright and successful future. Good luck, class of 2018, and thank you for having me honor you with a few remarks. The best of luck.
Thank you, Trustee Shorter. Before I introduce the next member of the Chancellor's Office, I do want to acknowledge also in the platform, he was acknowledged by the Board President, but we are joined today by Councilman Francisco Moya. I think that he was here and he left, but I want to make sure that he is acknowledged. And we're also joined here in the platform by the Vice President and President-elect of the Queens College Foundation and a class, CUNY alumnus of the class of 1968, Lee Fenderstock. So I want to recognize Lee also. Now to bring you greetings on behalf of the Chancellor of the City of University of New York is the Deputy Chancellor for Operations, a good friend of the work that we do here at Queens College. Let's give a big round of applause to Vice Chancellor Bert Sachs. Great to have you here, sir.
Thank you. Good morning. I remember several years ago at my daughter's graduation, the speaker looked out at the audience. It was over 20,000 people, and he said, "If this isn't nice, what is?" Look around. This is absolutely beautiful. If everybody just look around, thousands of people here, it really, really is nice. Good morning. I'm Bert Sachs, Deputy Vice Chancellor of Operations at CUNY. I'm pleased here representing Chancellor James E. Milliken and everyone at City University. Before beginning my remarks, I'd like to personally acknowledge and thank Felix Matos Rodriguez, President of Queens College, for his leadership in providing you with a great education. I've gotten to see his visionary leadership and passion for quality education up close and personal for nearly a decade. Under his leadership, Queens College is reported as among the top 10 public colleges in the Northeast region by the U.S. News and World Report. He is truly one of the great public education leaders of our time. Let's give your president a great hand. Let's all give a great hand to the faculty here at Queens College, without whom you would not have received a great education. Today, you have just graduated from Queens College, one of the shining stars in CUNY's constellation of world-class colleges. It is time for you to step forth into what you may appear to be an uncertain future. Don't step forth with trepidation. Be brave. Follow your passion. Take the risk. It takes courage to grow up and become who you really want to be. Fortunately, there is no magic to success. You carry all the power you need inside yourselves, all ready to change the world and to succeed. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. So ladies and gentlemen, dream on. Don't hold back on your imagination or creativity. Don't be afraid of failure. There will be times when you fail. don't be discouraged. Never look back. And when you fall forward. Finally, live your life with integrity and don't give in to peer pressure to be something you're not. Follow your passion and stay true to it. 20 years from now, you will want to remember all the great things you have accomplished rather than the ones you didn't. Ladies and gentlemen, go forth into the future and make yourself and your loved ones proud. Success is in your hands. Good luck, class of 2018.
Thank you, Deputy Vice Chancellor Sachs, for your words. Now it gives me great joy to have someone who was sitting where you were sitting there last year and actually came to give greetings, and he was so successful that we invited him back again because he's also graduating again this year with a master's degree. So I would like all of you to give a big welcome to the president of the Student Association, your president, Japneet Singh. Come in, Japneet.
Is the class of 2018 in the house? All right, listen up. I know we were all dressed up. I asked a question. Is the class of 2018 in the house? There you go. So, I want to take a minute and start off by thanking the Lord above for helping us overcome all obstacles and roadblocks and allowing this day to take place. Finally, it's the day we've all been waiting for. It's probably one of the only days we can be as extra as we want with our outfits and get away with it. Like, I have a full-blown suit on right now, but all you can see is my tie. Like, I could just wear shorts. But we've earned this day. Through countless hours of dedication and hard work, we knew each semester was one step closer to this moment. As I stand up in front of you all, it's very bittersweet. It's a very bittersweet moment, as this is probably one of the last times I'll be saying, on behalf of the entire Student Association team, I would like to thank you for allowing me to serve you for the last 2 years as your student body president. It was both a humbling and rewarding experience, whether it was getting yelled at for harassing you to vote during election week, or seeing the smiles of joy during finals week when we would do events and activities. Whether it was welcoming you to the college during welcome day, or breaking it down with you during midnight breakfast, I hope as a student body president on this campus, I was able to impact a small part of your experience here at QC. If I wasn't, please see me as soon as the graduation is over. I'm still president until 11:59 tonight. I got you with the shirt or water bottle, whatever you want, I got you. I want to give a quick shout out to President Matos for not only being one of the best college presidents we could ask for, but a true advocate for the students here at Queens College. I had the honor of knowing President Matos since the first day he entered QC about 4 years ago. And though we both have much more black, we had much more black hair back in the day, it was a pleasure to work with you. And though I would always try to race him to put up the very popular, quote unquote, due to severe weather conditions at Queens College, school will be closed tomorrow, post on social media, he would always manage to get more likes. You are truly hashtag the GOAT. So let's give him a round of applause. Come on, guys. I would also like to thank all the faculty and staff who without this day would not have been possible. It was with your guidance and belief in us that we are here today. In addition, thank you to the entire operational staff at the Student Union, BNG, and all our public safety officers who worked tirelessly to ensure we were always prioritized, even when it didn't seem like it. Lastly, I would like to thank all the parents, siblings, family members, and guardians that provided us with the emotional support we needed to push through the finish line. And though oftentimes we were hard to deal with, your love and constant trust in our goals has helped us to get to this point. A special shout out to my parents, Paramji Multani and Balwinder Kaur, and my sister Parminder, and my little niece, 1 year old, who's making a ruckus over there, Prabnur, who kept their belief strong in me, even though I know they were fed up with me coming home at midnight almost every day. You all the family members, are the real hashtag, the real MVP. Let's give it up for all the family members. Let's give them a big round of applause, because without them, there is no us. All right, for the rest of my speech, I want to do something different, something untraditional, so I hope you enjoy it. So give me a sec while I take it out. You all expect to have some great wisdom that I'll teach, but anyone can stand up on this podium and preach. And I'm a QC grad, so I'm rhyming this speech, because though I seem uptight, it's only right that we make this commencement one memorable sight. And I know all you have probably heard this stuff before, all those themes of chasing dreams and wanting more, but I'm sure at the core what these things are for is to show you that you can get up off the floor. And each corny speech is intended to teach that as far as you reach is as far as you're soar. But wait, don't get me wrong, troubles will come along, and the louder you sing, the more painful your song. But through trials and miles of crawling through muck, when you run out of luck and it seems like you're stuck, don't give up, because it's worth it. This earth is not perfect, but neither are we. So you see, naturally life is a mess, and there is going to be stress. But we're QC Knights, we're not damsel in distress. So we press through the pain, and we dance in the rain, we change and we grow, and we learn how to let go. And it's these times that show we are more than what we know. So don't ever think when you're right on the brink that it's better to quit than it is to sink. Because in all situations when it's looking grim, it's only overboard that you learn how to swim. And whether it's dim or bright, whether daytime or night, you can keep persevering, don't give up the fight. And we're in this together, man, through storms or fair weather. The journey is the learning is the growing. So don't leave your story without even knowing. Because whatever your state, great things await as you learn to circumnavigate. I'd argue that the true reason for all we do is not money or fame, even happiness too, if you focus on you. For me, the true key to life is to serve and observe, to make others happy. Because by caring and sharing the burdens that they're bearing, we bind all mankind. And as we're intertwined, then we're shown that we've grown more than we could alone. Because the more we give, the more we live. Imagine what this world will be if we change our priorities and seize the opportunities, if charities be amenities, and we can live in unity. It sounds naive, but I believe it is something we can achieve. So rise above and learn to love, because that's what true joy is made of. Everyone, no matter who, no matter what they say or do, just fix your perception, because we all account for the sames. Minorities, majorities, constituents, authorities, red elephants or blue donkeys. The core of these divisions are decisions. We decide to be divided, but we don't have to. We can pull through. And me and you, there's so much we united can do. I've decided that I'm done being nearsighted, because someday they'll see from sea to sea that it's about us, not just me. And thus, all the fuss about who's right and let's fight and my way or bust, it's all BS, and we should all discuss how to see one another with love, not bias. Just look around you, man, and see all these faces. We're all walking through life at our own paces. So whatever your politics, religion, or race is, you're going to go up there and, you're going to go places. So wherever you are, you got to work with your placement, whether it's in New York, Asia, or your own parents' basement. Because wherever and whenever and whoever you are, just know you can go far and shoot for every star. And love the life that you have gotten, no matter how bizarre. Because whether or not it's what you thought, this life you have is all you got. And potential, Queens College graduating class of 2018, we've got a lot. So please do not throw away your shot.
Let's hear it for Student Association President Jabni Singh. Jab, it's been a pleasure working with you. I am going to miss you. I've learned a lot from you. I will not miss your phone calls and texts when the weather and the snow comes. And about your non-traditional words and your poem, I wish you best in your career in accounting. So, being the president allows you sometimes to move things around, and I decided that we've been blessed. You heard one of your fellow students speak today. We've been blessed with the greetings from elected officials, many people who are vested in our education, Board of Trustees, and members of the Chancellery. But I think it'd be nice to hear from one of you. So I decided to move forward in the program the words from the valedictorian, a student that comes and represents all of you. So this year, we're gonna listen from Josephine Cook. Josephine is a dual major in neuroscience and psychology and a winner of the Paul Clapper. Yeah, you can clap to that, yes. And a winner of the Paul Clapper Scholarship. As you will hear from her, she transferred from to Queens College, and during her time here at Queens, she has won several scholarships, including the Raphael Sims Likowitz Award for Undergraduate Research in Psychology and a scholarship from the Louis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation in STEM. She also participated in the undergraduate research program at Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory, as well as serving as a math tutor with the CUNY Tutor Corps. Josie has won a Marshall Scholarship to allow her to pursue graduate study in the United Kingdom. She will study there the clinical benefits of dance to the vestibular system. Please give a warm Queens College applause to your valedictorian, a fellow graduate, Josephine Cook.
Welcome, family, friends, faculty, honored guests, President Matos, and of course, my fellow graduates. It is a tremendous honor to be speaking to you all on such a special day, as today marks the culmination of all of our hard work and many sleepless nights over the past few years, and so I'm very happy to congratulate all of you on receiving your degrees. I would like to begin by confessing that, unlike many of you, I'm not a native New Yorker, and as such, I am often asked, well, why did you come all the way over from Seattle to attend Queens College? And the truth is that I didn't. I came to New York to pursue my dream of dancing professionally as part of the Ailey Fordham BFA program. But when injury and finances compelled me to move on, I decided to come to Queens College, where I was warmly welcomed into the Transfer Honors Program under the guidance of Dr. Barbara Samirka. I was immediately blown away by the rich network of advisors, mentors, and professors that form the backbone of the Queens College community, which I now proudly consider a second home. 2 years later, I can confidently say that I have received more support and more opportunity here than I could have ever hoped to receive at my previous university. Part of what makes Queens College so great is that students are pushed to not only pursue all provided opportunities, but to create our own. I can personally testify that, especially at this stage of our lives, we tend to say yes to everything asked of us. We say yes to tasks we have no interest in doing because we want to ingratiate ourselves with those who have authority, people who can help us get ahead. However, between all these yeses, we never question the no's we frequently get. I'm talking about the no's we face when we dare to think outside the box. This can hold us back. We get caught up in pleasing others rather than considering what is best for ourselves. As such, the best piece of advice I can share with you, my fellow graduates, is how to turn the word no into an opportunity. In my time at Fordham, I was told no often. When I said I wanted to double major in dance and neuroscience, I heard no. When I injured my knee, I felt the word no from my teachers, though they never said it aloud. And I didn't defend myself or push back against these no's, and it was only upon leaving that I realized
a member of the Queens College class of 1968 and confer him an honorary doctor. Dr. Schoenfeld, please come to the middle of the stage. And our provost, Elizabeth Henry, would read excerpts of the citation for Dr. Schoenfeld. The complete text of the citation is in your program. Madam Provost.
Alan Schoenfeld, Doctor of Science honoris causa. You received your bachelor's degree in mathematics from Queens College in 1968. Then, like so many others in your generation, you went west to California, earning your PhD in mathematics from Stanford University in 1973. You now hold the Elizabeth and Edward Connor Chair in the Graduate School of Education at the University of California, Berkeley, and are affiliated in our mathematics department. You are a tireless researcher, devoting your life to mathematics and education. Your current projects, the Algebra Teaching Study funded by the National Science Foundation, the Mathematics Assessment Project and Formative Assessment with Computational Technologies funded by the Gates Foundation, and your work with the San Francisco and Oakland Unified School Districts under the auspices of the National Research Council Strategic Research Partnership, all focus on understanding and enhancing mathematics teaching and learning. You have written, edited, or co-edited 22 books and approximately 200 articles on thinking and learning. You have been Senior Advisor to the Educational Human Resources Directorate of the National Science Foundation and Senior Content Advisor to the U.S. Department of Education What Works Clearinghouse. Your work has earned widespread acclaim. In 2011, you were awarded the International Commission on Mathematics Instruction's Klein Medal, the highest international distinction in mathematics education. Today, it is our great pleasure to welcome you back to Queens College and to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
Thank you. By the authority vested in the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York, by the State of New York, and by them entrusted to me, I hereby confer upon Alan Schoenfeld the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and honors pertaining thereto. So, yeah. And now I introduce Dr. Alan Schoenfeld.
Wow, what a trip. Thank you, Dr. Matos Rodriguez. Congratulations to the class of 2018. 50 years ago, I was sitting where you are. I'm somewhat between 200 and 300 years old, and I thought maybe a little dose of history would be useful, though I will try to keep it brief. I'll start in 1965, which is in May of 1965, I was a freshman, and that's where I met my girlfriend, who is now my wife of 48 years, at the Student Union. So I didn't get to travel around the world, but I got a much better prize. Okay. 68 was in the 60s, and I wanted to talk about a bit of history because it's important as context. Richard Nixon was president. Do you know what his name was, what his nickname was? It was Tricky Dick. The president of the United States was a pathological liar. Can you imagine that? He also was known for saying, "I am not a crook." He was, and he got caught. Be optimistic. Okay? It was the time of the Vietnam War. It was the decade during which Martin Luther King was killed. The people at the top used race baiting as a way of maintaining their position at the top and appealing to their base. So, been there, done that. Now, believe it or not, things are actually better in a large number of ways now than they were then.
We've seen all sorts of things. Back then, we had the nuclear clock from the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, and it was set to 2 minutes before midnight because we were that close to obliteration. It's 50 years later, we're okay so far. Okay. As a mathematician, I think in terms of graphs and stuff like that. And there are ups and downs. And basically, the curve looks like this. For the math folks, it's kx plus sine x. And what it shows is there are ups and downs. There are times when things look pretty bad. But if you work at it, they get better. Okay, I want to return to some of what we know now that we didn't know then. One of the things I know is about privilege. Back then, we didn't understand as much about the advantages that white people, that tall people, that bald people, oh, I'm wearing my hat, you can't see that, had. There was another advantage that's been alluded to, and it's really important. And that's the advantage that you've been given and you've earned because you're sitting here today. The idea of the founding fathers of this university, of this college, was there are extraordinarily talented people all around us. Many of them, under certain circumstances, wouldn't have a chance. We need to provide them that chance, and it's not because we're generous, it's because smart, talented, dedicated people will change the world. Our society will be better if we give everybody we can the opportunity to be who they can. That was the idea behind QC. And that much you've been told, but I can tell you something else, because it's 50 years since I got my degree. You hear people say, I didn't realize how smart my parents were till I left home. Well, okay, you've lived through your life at QC. When you go elsewhere, you will discover just how wonderfully prepared you are. You know, I came from QC. I was one of those people. My grandparents were immigrants. My parents didn't go to college. And I was surrounded by a bunch of smart folks, and we had a good time. And then I went to graduate school, and I discovered I was as well prepared as all the people who went to the institutions that cost 5, 10, 20% as much, who had all those other privileges. Queens College gave me my start, and it was a much better start than I ever could have imagined. That's where I decided ultimately to spend my time in education.
An honorary degree. So, Ms. Barat, please come to the middle of the stage, and Provost Elizabeth Henry will read excerpt from the citation for Ms. Barat, and the complete text is in your program. Madam Provost.
Jill Barat, Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Throughout your life, you have consistently demonstrated an exceptional instinct how to make things better, both in your remarkable success in the business world and your commitment to causes that improve and enrich the lives of others. Your ambition and determination saw you rise through the ranks from product manager to CEO at Mattel at a time when only a handful of women were in charge of a Fortune 500 company. Among your accomplishments, you took the reins of the Barbie brand in 1981 when it was under $200 million in sales and built it into the most recognized toy brand of all time with sales of $2 billion by the year 2000. Mattel's Wheels business, which includes Hot Wheels, and through your acquisition of Tyco, the Matchbook and Powerboat Wheels brand saw sales triple. You were the first to introduce what became the highly successful Disney Princess brand. Your commitment to Queens College, from which you graduated in 1973, has been equally impressive. You have generously supported scholarships for our students and special projects on our campus. You have served on the Queens College Foundation Board, of which you are trustee emerita, and you returned to campus this year to give an inspiring talk as part of our Professionals on Campus series. With your husband, Tom, you have supported organizations like Girls Incorporated, which provides academic enrichment to increase girls' love of learning and to keep a child alive, an initiative that aims to bring dignified treatment, care, and support to children and families affected by HIV. Since retiring, you have focused on supporting organizations such as the Children's Medical Network, the Children Affected by AIDS Foundation, and the International Women's Fellowship. Your many awards and recognition include the Front Runner Award from the Sarah Lee Foundation and selection as one of the Women of the Year by the Los Angeles County Commission for Women. We are pleased to add to your accolades by conferring upon you the degree of Humane Letters honoris causa.
Thank you, Madam Provost. And now, by the authority vested in the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York by the State of New York, and by them entrusted to me, I hereby confer upon Jill Barad the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, and honors pertaining thereto. Dr. Barad, congratulations. Let's go to the middle to take a picture. I give to you Dr. Jill Barad.
Oh my God. I can't even tell you what an honor this is for me. Never expected it in a million years, and unfortunately never had a chance to go to my own commencement in 1973. So it is such a thrill for me to feel like I'm finally at a graduation. So thank you. And the best part of it is that I get to share in your most wonderful day and to wish you everything that you could possibly wish for yourself and more, because I know you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. I'm a Queens girl through and through. Even though I live in Los Angeles now, still got that Queens edge. I was raised in Beechhurst, Whitestone, went to Bayside High School, then came here to Queens College, and this is where I really grew up. This is what formulated the person that you see here. I majored in English literature and psychology with a minor in communication and theater. Now, with that compilation of skills, one would not expect any kind of greatness out of this little being. In fact, my parents would say, "What are you going to do with those skills?" And I didn't have a clue, not a clue. But I just decided to follow my dream. And I thought I wanted to be an actress. So I thought I took some theater courses. I can act. I got a role in a movie. I didn't say anything, I just had to stand there. And I thought it was the most boring thing that I had ever been through in my life. So changed careers immediately and became one of those people who put on cosmetics in a department store to beautiful ladies, trying to make them even more beautiful. Now, I really enjoyed doing that job, but the best part about it was women were telling me all the things that they felt they needed and didn't have. I didn't know then that that was called marketing. So I wrote to the home office. This was with Coty Cosmetics, then owned by Pfizer, and I kept giving them my ideas. So a year later, they said, "Why don't you join the marketing department?" Again, I didn't really know what marketing was, but I joined the department, and I had the best time picking lipstick colors and cheek colors and all kinds of colors and perfumes. And Next thing I know, it's 3 years and I'm running all of Cody's cosmetic business in marketing. And I thought, God, I've reached the top. I'm a woman who really made it to brand manager. And I was thrilled. And then I fell in love. And my husband-to-be lived in Los Angeles. And he said, I ain't moving. So I had to give up my favorite city for the adventure that awaited me in Los Angeles. So out I go, and I want to work, so the only cosmetic company was Max Factor. I didn't really love their products, but I heard they had an advertising firm there called Wells Rich Green that handled all their advertising. And I thought, well, I learned communication at Queens College, maybe I can do something in advertising. And I started out as account supervisor, and then all of a sudden I became account executive. And I thought, oh my God, now I've reached the top. I'm leaving work because I'm pregnant, and I'm thrilled. I'm having a baby. And I stayed home with my firstborn, Alex, who is here today, for 14 months, until my husband kicked me out of the house and said, if you don't leave, I will. So I didn't know where to go. So I went to a headhunter who said, well, you know so much about cosmetics. You've done every cosmetic company here. Why not go to Mattel and tell them you want to do cosmetics for kids? And I said, oh, well, that's really easy. I go over, I get a meeting, I sit down, I give them this whole presentation, and they say, oh, well, we're already working on that. But how would you like to work on activities, novelties, and games? I didn't even know what activities, novelties, and games were. So my first product was a bad case of worms. And I took to this as if it was the most important product in the entire universe. I got my father, who was a television director, to do a stop-action film for me to present to Toys R Us. Goodbye, Toys R Us, I'm so sorry. And these worms, you threw them against the wall, bad case of worms, I called them, and they were supposed to crawl down, but they didn't. I had a sample. So my father made this amazing film. I wrote this song. I sang the song to Toys R Us. They bought 3 million bad cases of worms. And they all came back. Yep, that's when I learned that failure can be a success. Because what I did following that debacle was to tell the management at Mattel to get out of that stupid category. Why were they working on worms and so perfect and so magic they weren't making any money? And I did this whole thing about how they should get out of it, and everyone thought I would be fired. Nobody ever did that before. And they promoted me onto Barbie. I thought, oh my God, I guess taking risks can pay off. First lesson, don't be afraid of failure, take risks, for sure. Then I became pregnant again. And everybody said to me, oh no, she's on the Barbie brand. They're going to fire her because they're not going to promote someone who's pregnant into director of Barbie. And my other son, Justin, is here today to prove that he is in the world. And in fact, I did get promoted to director of Barbie. And when I was put on Barbie, I thought I had the crown jewels. I thought, this is it. Everybody loves her. And I did some research and found out mothers hated her, hated her. My own sister was embarrassed that I would be on a brand that was such a bad role model for girls. I mean, that was a quick hello. So got forces together and said, how do we change the perception of this little 11.5-inch woman? So started to change all the different play patterns. Barbie became a doctor, a gymnast, a businesswoman, albeit in a pink suede suit that skirt turned inside out to be a ball gown. But she also was an astronaut and the first woman to run for president, although President Clinton did win. He was very gracious and took a picture holding Barbie for president, which I savor to this day. But the best part of changing the perception of Barbie was the campaign line that we developed, which I live by to this day. And for the women in this audience, I really want you to do the same. We girls can do anything. Right, Barbie? Yes. And all of a sudden, moms thought, oh, this is fantastic. All these different dolls, my daughter gets to dream about all the things that are possibilities. And the more dolls we put out with different play patterns, the more the dreams changed, the more the possibilities grew, and the more Barbies they collected, because when I got there, every child owned one Barbie. And there was 14 million little girls in the US. And within 8 years, the average owned by every little girl was 8, and some had 40 or 50. So that's how the brand grew, from 20 or under 200 million to 2 billion when I left. But I also tried to look at other things that women weren't represented by, since I learned so much about Barbie. And on another piece of business that I had nothing to do with, it was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I think you're too young to have played with He-Man. But I was looking at some data, and I saw 20% of the audience was female. And I said, well, wait a second. Why can't He-Man have a sister? And her name is She-Ra. She-Ra, the Princess of Power. We created her, and now, where He-Man always said, I have the power, now She-Ra was able to say, I have the power. And it enabled me to create something from nothing that made little girls believe and get in touch with the powerful side of themselves. So the feminine side, the powerful side, all of that means is that these stories show that you need to know a lot about who you are talking to. Who's your target audience? Psychology taught me how to understand that. Okay, you have to be able to communicate your thoughts. What taught me that? English literature, writing, was able to communicate, was able to speak. I sang our earnings results, and people remembered them, because who wanted to hear dull earnings numbers and goals by someone who spoke dryly like some big executive? So mess things up and do it your way. And just because there are men, and mostly men, in every work environment that you're going to be in, because that's the reality of life, and it certainly was for me, don't let that stop you. And don't let that make you think you have to change who you are and what you look like. I never bought into the blue and black suit thing. I was not a banker. I did wear pink suits, and it didn't hurt me at all. And all of that is what I gained at Queens College. I can honestly say I would never, ever have achieved any of what I achieved had I not been here and had the liberal arts to be able to explore all that was open to me. My father told me there's no such word as can't, and I absolutely believe that. I say to someone who comes to me and says, oh, we have a problem. Oh, don't give me a problem without a solution. And every time I see a problem, I look for the opportunity there. It's like doing the New York Times Sunday crossword puzzle. It's the greatest challenge that you'll ever have. And speak up. Don't sit back and let someone else talk for you. I took a chance and said, get out of that category. I took a chance and said, oh, boys' toys, I'm going to steal your brand and give you a sister that you didn't want. And everyone said, you can't do it. But in fact, you can, if you believe in yourself. To paraphrase Albert Einstein, he said, knowledge is limited. Knowledge is limited. There's just so much you can know, but the imagination is limitless. So use your imagination and go forth into your life and your life's work, experimenting, taking risks, failing, and imagining all that you could be. I mean, even if it doesn't seem realistic, put it out there and it'll come back to you in some way. That I know. And people always ask women, do you have it all? I don't know why they only ask women that. And I don't really know what all means. But I do know that I am married to the same man for 40 years who has stuck by me. I have the two greatest children in the entire world, and I'm going to be a grandma for the first time. For a little girl at 67, I'm pretty excited about that. And my sister's here who helped me understand through her daughters what role models really need to be for girls. So I wish you all, men, women, every one of you, don't let any gender, color, bias, or anything take anything away from who you are. Go for it. And like Barbie said, you can do anything. And like Shira said, you have the power. Thank you.
Let's hear it again for Dr. Jill Barad. We have one more honorary degree to award, and it is to your commencement speaker, Cristina Jimenez Moreta. So she's a graduate of Queens College, graduated 11 years ago, was at this same ceremony sitting over there. So the people who are sitting on that side, when you hear her biography, this is what those seats can get you later in life. So can I please ask Ms. Jimenez Moreta to please come to the middle of the stage? And now the Provost, Elizabeth Henry, would read the excerpt for the citation for Ms. Jimenez Moreta. The complete citation is in your program.
Cristina Jimenez Moreta, Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Your life and career have been defined by a relentless drive for excellence and an unwavering commitment that all people have the opportunity to turn their dreams into reality. When you were 13, your parents risked everything to bring your family from Quito, Ecuador, to the United States to pursue the promise of a better life in Queens. That promise was often wanting, as your undocumented status brought poverty, abuse by police, wage theft from employers, and fear of deportation. But these experiences only made you more determined to combat unjust practices that plague people of color and the immigrant community. At Queens College, you co-founded the New York State Youth Leadership Council, an advocacy group for immigrant students. Graduating cum laude with a BA in Political Science and Business in 2007, you went on to earn a Master of Public Administration degree at Baruch College. You then worked on immigration policy at the Drum Major Institute for Public Policy and as an immigrant rights organizer at Make the Road New York. In 2008, you co-founded United We Dream and continue to serve as its executive director. Under your leadership, the group, which provides scholarships to highly qualified dreamers, has become the largest immigrant youth-led organization in the United States with over 400,000 members in 26 states. You also were instrumental in organizing the successful national campaign that led to the creation and implementation of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival Program, or DACA, under President Barack Obama, the most far-reaching and significant victory for immigrant communities in more than 30 years. Your achievements were recognized by Forbes in 2014 when it named you to its list of 30 under 30 in law and policy. You have also been named as one of 40 under 40 young leaders who are solving problems of today and tomorrow by the Chronicle of Philanthropy, one of 50 fearless women by Cosmopolitan, and one of the 100 most influential people of 2018 by Time Magazine. And last October, you received one of the highest and most prestigious honors that creative leaders can receive in the United States when you received a MacArthur Foundation Fellowship, also known as a Genius Grant. Your work has helped change the national conversation on immigration and create a new youth-led model of social justice organizing and movement building. And for this, we are pleased to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
Cristina, por la autoridad que confiere a la Junta de Síndicos de la Universidad de la Ciudad de Nueva York, otorgada por el Estado de Nueva York y delegada en mí, te presento el grado de Doctora en Humanidades honoris causa con todos los derechos, privilegios y responsabilidades que tiene el degree. So, I hereby introduce to you MacArthur Genius Award winner, Time Magazine 2018 100th Most Influential Person in the World, your commencement speaker, Queens College alumna, Dr. Cristina Jimenez Moreta.
Class of 2018, what's good? How you all feeling? You made it. Can you believe it? Are you all feeling it? I'm so excited that I'm gonna have to take this off because otherwise it's gonna fall off. I am truly honored to be with all of you today, and I want to thank President Matos, the faculty, the staff of Queens College. Thank you for inviting me to be your commencement speaker for the class of 2018. As someone who graduated from the political science department, I could not go without saying thanks and much gratitude to the faculty of the political science department. Dr. Rochelle. And also thanks to all of the staff who, some of them are not here with us at Queens College anymore, from the student life department, who supported me while I was here and nurtured me as a leader, as an individual, and as a person. Thank you for inviting me back home to my alma mater, the jewel of CUNY. Aren't you all proud of that? It feels great to be back home here in Queens, and to think that in 2017, I was in your shoes, sitting on this side of the quad, so full of joy that I was about to graduate. So to you, class of 2018, congratulations. After countless hours of studying at the Rosenthal Library, or maybe at home, or reading your books while you were in long commutes in trains and buses. And by the way, I did not have the privilege of the shuttle nowadays. But there you go, you have shuttles now. And also holding multiple jobs to pay for tuition. You have made it. And congratulations to your parents, families, and loved ones who supported you through this journey. As an immigrant and the daughter of immigrant parents who sacrificed so much to make sure that I could get a college education and supported me despite all odds, I know that today is your day too. Felicitaciones a todos los padres, familiares y seres queridos que apoyaron a los estudiantes alcanzar esta meta el día de hoy. Como una inmigrante e hija de padres inmigrantes, yo sé el sacrificio que costó apoyar a los estudiantes llegar a este punto y que a pesar de todos los desafíos están aquí en el día de graduación. Este logro es para ustedes también. So I want to invite the class of 2018 to do something with me to share our gratitude with our family and loved ones that are here supporting you. So I'm going to ask you to rise up. Graduates of 2018, rise up. We are celebrating your accomplishments today, and it's also a great accomplishment for your families, because we know that graduating and getting a college education is a community effort. We do not get to sit in those chairs by ourselves. It's a community effort. So I want to invite you to turn to see your families in the back and to give them a round of applause in gratitude. You may see now. Thank you for joining me in that. Today we celebrate the accomplishments and the resilience of your family members, your parents, and your ancestors whose dedication brought all of us to this place right here, right now. And it is here at Queens College that I became a halal food lover. Yes. And whether I like it or not, I got to love pizza because all of that free pizza during club hours, you know what I'm talking about? And I learned so much. Like, for example, sneaking food into the Rosenthal Library. Manny, don't kill me. Don't tell anyone I said that. It is also where I learned to dance soca and reggae, thanks to my friends from the Caribbean Student Association. Holla, y'all. It is also where I have the most lit parties, down in the basement of the Student Life building, where the political science club members and the members of the Caribbean Student Association will come together and just lit it up. And yes, I did more than partying. I was also planning student events with the political science department and the student government, and will never forget the countless hours of chalking in the morning on the boards. I don't know if we still do that. Do we still do that? Yes. And flyering all across campus so that you can join in student activities. It is also where I learned the best bubble tea, how to find the best bubble tea on Main Street. Yep. And also the best Colombian bakeries for those empanadas on Main Street. And of course, it's also where I met young people from all over the world and made lifelong friends, like my friend Jonathan Gillot from the class of 2008, who's here with me today. So it was all good and it was all fun. But most importantly, it was here at Queens College that I learned where I come from. The history of indigenous people in the Americas. I learned about colonialism. I learned about slavery. I learned about the KKK and the NRA. And I also learned about the AIDS and the civil rights movement that brought so much needed change to our country. I also learned that systematic racism and oppression is real. And I had real talk conversations with faculty and students when we were talking about the founding documents of our country and thinking and debating about values like all men are created equal. And unfortunately, in our lived experience, we know that that value has often excluded women, Black people, people of color, LGBT people, immigrants, and other vulnerable communities. So today, knowing our history as a country, knowing where we come from, is more important than ever. Because we are in a moment where as a country, we're hearing from leaders and from some people that immigrants and people of color and people of different faiths are a threat to our country. Or who are trying to claim that as women or immigrants or members of the LGBTQ community, or if you're Jewish or you're Muslim, that you do not have equal rights. See, I was born in Ecuador and had very courageous parents who decided to take a huge risk and leave everything behind to come to this country and give my brother and I a better life. My dad grew up homeless. My mom didn't get to go to college because in her family, girls weren't given that opportunity. So she wanted me to be the first one to go to college. But in spite of all of their efforts, political forces and greed took Ecuador to a very difficult political situation. The banks took over the country, people were unemployed, including people like my own parents. Jobs disappeared. There were days where we wouldn't have money for food. There were days where we wouldn't have money to pay for school. And so my parents had to make the difficult decision to risk it all and come here to Queens in 1998. And I learned very, very quickly that being an immigrant, being undocumented, being a person of color, meant that you were going to be treated differently in this country. My parents struggled through multiple jobs, experienced wage theft, exploitation at the workplace, living in the fear of deportation every day. My brother was stopped and assaulted by a police officer at the age of 11 for no reason other than being brown and therefore suspicious. And it was because of policies like a stop and frisk that now the White House wants to take to the rest of the country that it was okay for someone like my brother to have that experience. I remember going down to the police station to complain what had happened to my brother, but the officer at the station just laughed at me. In high school, I worked really hard to become a really strong college candidate. And just when I was waiting on the line to see my college advisor, feeling like, oh my God, this is my moment. I'm going to make it. I'm going to get to the next stage of my life. I get to see my college advisor, and when she finds out that I'm undocumented, she tells me that I cannot go to college. I sat there stunned, seeing my dreams and my parents' dreams crumbling all around me. All that sacrifice, all of that work for nothing. I woke up at this trance when the counselor shouted, "Next!" as she was trying to get me out of her face so that she could get on to the next student. I was devastated. I went home and I was crying and I was sharing this story with my mother. And my mother just listened. And then she took a deep breath before talking to me. And what she said is, your college advisor is wrong. You're gonna go back to school and you're gonna tell her that she must help you apply for college. So a big shout out to my mom and dad who are here. Gracias, papi y mami, por su apoyo y su valentía. So my mother said, if you don't go to school yourself and figure this out and get somebody else to help you, I'm going to go there myself and I'm going to talk to the administration. So as a teenager, I was terrified. Imagine your mom threatening to go and make a scene in your high school. So I had to brace myself, walk through the courage, and even though I felt very ashamed of being undocumented and very afraid and very alone and powerless, I decided that it was much better for me to go to school and figure this out than having my mom going there and embarrass me as a high school student. If you wondered, I did go back. I found someone in the school who helped me, and I was able to get here to this beautiful campus at Queens College. I'm sharing this about my story because my story is no different than many of your stories. You and your families face adversity, but you know what? You made it. Despite the odds and despite the challenges, you have made it to your graduation day. And I share it because the journeys that we and our parents and our ancestors took to get us here to Queens College need to be acknowledged, named, and celebrated, just as much as our time in classes, in the library, or around this quad. Because regardless of the racist and hateful agenda that some politicians are pushing, we ought to be proud of who we are, where we come from, and our stories. Many of us face discrimination and inequity in our employment, in our education, in our health, in our safety. Too many of us as people of color live with the fear that we will be locked up one day, deported, or killed. Many of us, particularly in this moment in our country, are enduring mankind's most dehumanizing words every day, like illegal, criminal, alien, and animal. Under these conditions, sharing our stories and feeling proud about our stories and where we come from is a political act of bravery. And I, today, encourage you, each and every single one of you, to tell your stories and to be proud of who you are and where you come from. When I was a student here at Queens College, there was literally no one talking about being an immigrant and being undocumented or sharing their stories of being undocumented and unafraid. In fact, I and many of us were really afraid. I remember that when I spoke publicly about my status, my immigration status for the first time, I needed to use a different name and to say that I was from a different country just to feel a little bit safer. So I said that my name was Sandra and that I was from Costa Rica. Those days were really scary. But bit by bit, I kept just shedding that fear. And it was here, because of the community at Queens College, from my political science professors, to President Maiskins at the time, to Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Joe, who supported me and encouraged me, who I was able to confide in and share with them that I was undocumented. And all I received from them was love, encouragement, and also their public solidarity in standing in support of immigrant communities, undocumented students, and the DREAM Act. And in 2006, in a commencement just like this, our president at the time and all of our students wore white ribbons in solidarity of undocumented students on campus and in advocacy for the DREAM Act. Yes, let's applaud for that. Co-founders of United We Dream are from all over the country, but many include CUNY graduates like myself and Walter Barrientos from Baruch College, who's also now my partner and my love. Big shout out to Walter, who's here too. At United We Dream, we envision spaces where young people can feel safe, can be true to themselves, can be free. And that's what we have created in United We Dream. We created places where women who were really afraid, like me, could show up, scared, timid, feeling powerless, but become part of an empowered community. We went from 7 groups in United We Dream in 2008 to having more than 100 groups and more than 400,000 members across the country today. We dreamed together, we learned skills for how to change the world together, and we created change for our communities. And it is so amazing to see how young people can empower other young people and strip away layers of misogyny, homophobia, racism, and poverty. And we have some of those courageous people here at Queens College today. So congratulations to all of the immigrant and undocumented students who are organizing, pushing for the DREAM Act, and are graduating today who are here with us. I cannot lie. The last year has been really hard. But amidst the darkness, immigrant youth and our country and our allies are resisting and pushing back. Many of us have put our bodies on the line to fight for what Queens College believes in: diversity, equity, justice, and opportunity. And at every step of the way, we are working and confronting people with institutional power. Yes, at United We Dream, we have young people that have taken over congressional buildings and have made our voices heard to some of the most powerful people in this country, whether that was at the White House or Congress. But let me be clear, the power to oppress and the power to liberate does not exist in the hands of billionaires or the people in the White House. And that's what I want to leave you today. As Queens College graduates, you will be leaders in communities, classrooms, boardrooms, in the state and in the world. And I believe that more MacArthur geniuses are already part of this graduating class. You will have power in your roles and the institutions where you will be serving and working. And as you advance in your careers, that institutional power will grow, and every day you will face choices in how you see yourself and the power that you hold. You will be members of school boards, agency directors, enforcement leaders who are forced with choices of whether to move your institutions in the direction of promoting equality or justice, or whether you will move your institutions to the direction of the current people at the White House. The Secretary of Education just said recently that it's up to individual schools to decide whether or not to report children whose parents are undocumented. You will be teachers and counselors and principals and part of those administrations are our educational institutions. And you will have the power to open doors to young people where otherwise they will be shut down. Here at Queens College, we graduates have gotten a world-class education, both inside campus and outside of our classroom. And let me tell you, this country and this world needs graduates like you now more than ever. Graduates with the academic background to know the difference between truth and propaganda. Graduates who know the power of diversity and who have experienced struggle and who have succeeded. You, the graduating class of 2018 here at Queens College, are more ready to take on the challenge of tomorrow than you realize. Here at Queens College, our motto is, we learn so that we may serve. And my challenge to you today is that you live out to this motto in your lives and in your careers, wherever you end up. They say that it's the darkest before the dawn. And in you, graduates, I see a beautiful and bright future. And we will get through the rain and through the storms and through the really hot days, just like we're doing right now. Thank you. And I honor the journey that you and your families have taken to get here. And I am committed and feeling very excited about the kind of country and future that we can build together. Congratulations. Felicitaciones a todos y todas.
Let's hear it one more time for our commencement speaker, Dr. Cristina Jimenez. Thank you. I just want to make sure that you know, in a recent study that I read from the Royal Academy of Optimists, graduates who have commencement ceremonies under the rain earn more money, live longer, are better looking, and have happier lives than those who don't. So, just want to make sure that you knew that. I have the honor now to recognize some of the alumni groups who are here in the audience. And one thing that you can look forward to being an alumni is being under the shade with the tarp, right? So, can I have the members of the class of 1968 who are celebrating their 50th reunion to please stand up? This alumni came to our campus in 1964. The civil rights movement continued to gain strength as Dr. Martin Luther King won the Nobel Peace Prize and 3 young men, including Queens College student Andy Goodman, lost their lives trying to register black voters in Mississippi. Also in 1964, color TV began to make its way into American homes. And the Beatles appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show. When they graduated in 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King and Senator Robert Kennedy had been both assassinated. Richard Nixon defeated Hubert Humphrey to become President of the United States, and the astronauts in Apollo 8 became the first people to circle the moon. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the class of 1968. You might be seated. There's more. Can I have the graduates from the class of 1958 who are celebrating their 60th reunion to please stand up? When they entered Queens College back in 1954, the U.S. Senate voted to condemn Senator Joe McCarthy for misconduct. Children began to receive Dr. Jonas Salk polio vaccine, and over 10 million Swanson TV dinners were sold. When they graduated back in 1958, the Supreme Court unanimously ruled that schools in Little Rock, Arkansas, needed to integrate. British Airways Corporation offered the first transatlantic jet passenger service, and Elvis Presley was inducted into the United States Army. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you the class of 1958. But there's more. Can I have the class of 1948 to please stand up and be recognized? We're celebrating the 70th reunion. When they entered college back in 1944, the Allied Army invaded Normandy on D-Day, June 6. Scientists at Harvard University built the first automatic general-purpose digital computer, and Casablanca won the Oscar for the Best Picture of the Year. In 1948, when they graduated, President Harry Truman ended racial segregation in the U.S. military. The UN General Assembly adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and the musical South Pacific opened on Broadway. I give you the class of 1948. But there's more. I want the audience now to stand as we celebrate Shirley Kriegel Schur, a member of the class of 1943. She's celebrating its 75th reunion. Shirley received her BA in music and was a member of Mu Sigma sorority, the QC Choral Society, and the Radio Club. When she came to Queens College, it was the third class that was entering this institution. This quad looked very, very different. Back in 1939, World War II began as Germany invaded Poland. The New York World's Fair opened, and the film version of Gone with the Wind premiered and became one of the most successful films in all times. In 1943, when Shirley graduated, the Allied Army defeated Japan in the Battle of Guadalcanal, and the Soviets defeated Germany in the Battle of Stalingrad. A gallon of gas cost 15 cents, and a new house sold for $3,600. And Rodgers and Hammerstein's groundbreaking musical Oklahoma debuted on Broadway and ran for 15 years. Ladies and gentlemen, let's salute Shirley Kriegel Schur, a remarkable member of the class of 1943. And Shirley, may your karma and blessings go on all our graduates so they can also come back here 75 years from now and celebrate their reunion. You may all sit down. Do you have yes. Do not worry, I just realized that I missed the music. Right? So we have an a cappella group of graduates who are going to lead you in singing, you may stand up, the Queens College anthem. Please proceed.
Blue and silver proudly flying o'er the college we all love, sons and daughters pay their homage to our college.
Thank you so much. Let's give it up. This quartet of graduating students from the Aaron Copland School of Music gave you a rendition of Blue and Silver, which were the traditional colors of Queens College. So let's give it to Nicole Cicero, Sophia Price, Timothy White-Vogel, and the one and only Tito Gutierrez. Thank you so much for your rendition. And congratulations on graduating. So if you go to the program now, it says President's Charge. Do you know what the President's Charge is? No, it is not that we're going to charge you your alumni fees by the President. No. The President's Charge is my speech. So I am going to be, thank you for the love. I am going to give you the same gift that I gave to the class last year. All right? We live in a democracy. Christina invited you to be empowered, right? So we're going to take a vote. All right? All those in favor of me not giving a speech and giving out the diplomas, stand up and applaud. Stand up. Will my mother stand up if you want me to give a speech? So, no speech. My speech to you is online because I knew you were going to be tricky and do this to me. So, my speech to you is on the commencement page. So, make sure and go read it, right? If you don't read it, we won't make you the diploma. Madam Provost, let's come on and let's give out some degrees. So now is the time to confer degrees. Since there's so many of you, right, we cannot call each individual member to the stage. So we're going to have a few representatives from each one of your classes come up to represent you and get the degrees, and then we're going to give them all to you. So, Madam Provost.
And continuing in that spirit, we're going to first give all the graduate degrees and then the undergraduate degrees. So let me ask that all those who are candidates for master's degrees, professional and advanced certificates, and specialist diplomas, please stand. And this includes the degree of Master of Music, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Arts, Master of Library Science, Master of Science, Master of Science in Education, Master of Arts in Teaching, all professional and advanced certificates, and those earning both a bachelor's and master's here today. So representing these candidates, Yair Yepez will represent the Master of Arts, Michelle Wan and Gina Baldwin, the Master of Library Science, Oren Dayan, the Master of Science, Anthony DeJesus, Master of Science in Education, Master of Arts in Teaching, Professional and Advanced Certificates, and Bachelor of and Master's degree simultaneously, Arwa Al-Romaim, representing those candidates. And now, President Matos Rodriguez, I present to you these candidates and respectfully request that you confer upon them the master's degrees, professional advanced certificates, and specialist diplomas for which they are qualified.
Thank you, Madam Provost. By the authority vested in the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York, by the State of New York, and by them entrusted to me, I hereby confer upon you the master's degrees, professional and advanced certificates, and specialist diplomas for which you have qualified with all the rights, privileges, and honors pertaining thereto. Please be seated.
And now will all the candidates for bachelor's degrees please rise. Shai Wang will represent the candidates for Bachelor of Science. Neophytos Ianous will represent Bachelor of Music. David Lahara, Bachelor of Fine Arts. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. And President Matos Rodriguez, I present to you these candidates and respectfully request that you confer upon them the bachelor's degrees for which they are qualified.
If they're qualified, they need to make some noise. By the authority vested in the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York, by the State of New York, and by them entrusted to me, I hereby confer upon you the bachelor's degrees for which you have qualified with all the rights, privileges, and honors pertaining thereto. Congratulations. And now, my dear graduates, the moment you've been all waiting for. Are you holding that tassel? Are you holding that tassel? Drop the umbrella and hold that tassel. I authorize you now. You can switch your tassels from left to right. Congratulations. Thank you, Madam Provost. Please be seated. I wish all of you the best as you begin your life after Queens College. Please don't be a stranger, and remember that Queens College will always be with you in spirit. While you might no longer be a Queens College student, you have now joined the distinguished rank of Queens College alumni. Congratulations. And now, to officially close the ceremony, I invite Chief Marshal Streckers to come back to the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain in place until the center aisle recessional is complete. Additional ceremonies for various academic programs, very important, and divisions will begin in 30 minutes. Their locations are printed in your program on pages 50 and 51. The 94th Commencement Exercises of Queens College of the City University of New York are now officially concluded.